Welcome to Tiger Tracks, your home for the best of LSU athletics. And now, your hosts, Jordy Holtberg and Bill Frankes.
Hello, Tiger fans. Welcome to Tiger Tracks alongside Bill Frankes. I'm Jordy Holtberg. What a bizarre week it was. It started with poor Les Miles having some issues with too much coffee, and it ended on a Saturday night in a monsoon and a lightning storm in a game that never really got off the schneid. The LSU McNeese State game canceled.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Unfortunately, for the first time in nearly 100 years, Jordy, LSU had to cancel a football game. The last time, of course, was back in 1918 due to World War I. Right. Just a very unfortunate situation. LSU officials did the best they could, but in the end, it was in the best interest of the players and of the fans to not play the game. And hopefully the Tigers can move past this and look forward to playing this weekend in Starkville.
LSU did the right thing. They took care of McNeese State, gave them their money, and they're taking care of all you loyal fans as well. A very classy move by the LSU athletic department and the administration to refund all those ticket monies.
Absolutely, and Joe Oliva and his staff took a lot of time and researched several options, but in the end, the best thing to do was to refund the single game ticket price to all the fans, and those who bought tickets through LSU will have their money returned.
I'm really curious to see how many LSU fans are actually going to cash those checks. I bet you a bunch don't. I bet you a bunch don't. Anyway, that's another story for another day. As Bill mentioned, Mississippi State on the horizon, SEC opener, and the season opener in Starkville. We'll have a preview of that. Brian Lee will join us. His soccer team off to a great start.
Soccer team is undefeated right now through the first 6 games of the season. They open SEC play this week against Alabama.
Mother Nature can't beat us. Tiger Tracks next. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. Bill Frankes. I'm Jordy Holtberg. LSU opens up their 2015 season with back-to-back SEC games. That hadn't happened in a long time. Mississippi State, 8:15 this Saturday, ESPN for the Tigers.
Well, quite a challenge now to have your season opener on the road against a team that was ranked #1 last season for 5 weeks of the year. Dak Prescott is back. Of course, the Bulldogs defeated the Tigers in Tiger Stadium. I think LSU just is ready to get out there and play somebody. These guys are anxious and ready to go. Garrett Walford had a chance to preview this week's game.
The LSU season opener, take 2. After school officials were forced to cancel a football game for the first time since World War I, the Tigers now find themselves headed on the road to Starkville. Heisman Trophy candidate Dak Prescott and Mississippi State crashed the Orange Bowl last year and are looking to keep their program rolling. LSU head coach Les Miles has put the McNeese cancellation behind him and is gearing up for the Bulldogs.
The challenge to our football team is to improve without that game, and that's the issue. There's certain advantages that we have that are inherent to the position that we currently have, and we're looking forward to playing and getting the season opener completed, and with a kickoff at 8:15. Our guys like night games, and we will look forward to playing in Starkville, Mississippi.
Dak Prescott has broken 18 school records and has already earned his undergrad degree. The Houghton, Louisiana native can run Dan Mullen's offense in his sleep and is 15-6 as a starter. The LSU Tigers can't sleep on the Dak attack.
I feel like, Dak's a bigger guy, so we got to make sure he's not like the average size quarterback. So it's not like a 180, 190 pound guy where you can just knock him down and or hit him, and then he'll probably go down. You got to wrap up, you got to drive your feet, and you got to make sure that when he goes down that, you know, he's down, because if you don't, he might three-legged run or something, whatever, and get up, and you never know. He's a great guy, great quarterback, and you know, we'll have our hands full of him.
They run out of 11 personnel a lot, and that puts our nickel package on the field, you know. So once you spread all those guys out, you know, the integrity of the defense is really vulnerable. So we're going to do some things to help make that more solid.
Brandon Harris ran just 3 plays against McNeese State, none of which will count towards season statistics. A jet sweep, a screen pass, and a long bomb. But don't expect LSU's offense to be rusty in Starkville.
You know, I think everybody's focused around here. You know, it's always, you know, we came out of that situation with a positive. You know, we had no injuries or anything like that, and I guess 5 plays that we played, and we're fresh, and we're looking forward to going to Mississippi State and playing. Like I said again, I'm a different quarterback than I was last year. You know, we spent a lot of time watching film on this. This is a great team we're playing, and you know, I'm excited to go on the road and show that we've grown since last year at Auburn.
From 2000 to 2013, LSU beat Mississippi State by an average of 39-13. But last fall, despite a furious rally at the end by Brandon Harris, the Tigers finally fell to the Bulldogs 34-29.
I have high expectations for myself, and it's nice and to know some other people are noticing it and starting to say my name, but that doesn't mean anything to me really. I'm going to just continue to do what I do, work hard, get better, try to be the best quarterback I can, and develop every aspect of the quarterback position.
Indeed, Mississippi State broke a 14-year losing streak to LSU and looks to top the Tigers in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 90-91. Here's a fun fact. None of the current Bulldogs were even born yet. Kickoff set for 8:15 Central on ESPN HD. Reporting for Tiger Tracks, I'm Garrett Walford.
Thank you, Garrett. They're going to try and set a Guinness Book of World Records again, the most consecutive cowbell rings in one venue, so we'll see what happens. Tigers have had great success in Starkville, trying to avenge last season's loss. That's when Brandon Harris came back and almost rallied the Tigers from a big deficit, brought them within striking distance.
You're right. LSU's won 7 straight in Starkville, haven't lost a game there since 1999. Look forward to more success this week in Starkville. The Tigers just too big and too strong.
When we return, Brian Lee will sit right next to us and talk women's soccer here on Tiger Tracks. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks here on CST alongside Bill Franquez. I am Jordy Helpberg. And while we didn't have an LSU football game because of Mother Nature, who always wins, we have had soccer games. And Brian Lee, now in his 11th season as the head coach of the LSU Tiger soccer team, off to a 4-0-2 start, off to a great start, beating some very good teams. Kind enough to join us. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm great. Fantastic.
Let's talk about the season so far. 4 wins. What was the most impressive to you?
Well, the good start out in Oregon. It's always more difficult to go on the road and to go out to Oregon and experience all of their pomp and circumstance with their opening game and They're a solid Pac-12 program that's going to be in the NCAA mix. And when you open with a team like that, you look at it all off season. It's a major goal of the team to win that game, and that really springboarded us into a solid start.
You mentioned that because I remember when LSU football had the same scenario, opened up with Oregon. Boy, their intensity during their workouts leading up to it set the tone for the entire season. Is that similar to what your girls went through?
Absolutely. We had 9 months where we really had a target game, not just, hey, this season. It's a real specific. If you beat Oregon, you're off to a good start, and then we go from there. So the kids put in so much hard work, and really in the end, I was just happy they grinded it out and got a win.
Awesome.
Brian, you've got a real veteran team this year. You have 9 seniors who have been vital components in your program. You mentioned that during that off-season period, establishing a culture was very important. Can you elaborate on that?
It was. We really asked a lot of our seniors. We asked them to step up and be great leaders on and off the field. And in those 9, we've got 5 fifth-year seniors, who for a variety of reasons have an extra year. So we're a really mature team, both in the starting lineup and coming off the bench. Our first 4 players off the bench are seniors. And it just makes a massive difference in the approach of the team. And they're kind of extensions of the coaching staff right now. All 9 are really on board with what we're doing. And first and foremost, I'm really excited for them, to see this kind of success early in the season and continuing on to see what we can accomplish.
Now in your 11th season, you started out, you're inheriting players. Then you start recruiting the kind of players that you want. Now you've got a group with veterans. You've had youth, you've had veterans, you had a mix. Talk about this team in comparison to some of your other teams. How do they compare and contrast?
Well, it's an interesting one. Certainly it's our most talented team.
Okay.
Some of the older kids were parts of top 10 recruiting classes, and we're able to combine it this year, not just talent, but with a experienced senior-laden team. Last year we played without a senior on the roster. So that combination makes them very, very unique, and hopefully makes our high-end potential way up there. And we've had a bunch of teams, maybe 3 or 4 times we finished just out of first, second place in the SEC. We won our share of West titles when they existed, but we've been that close. And hopefully this, for the first time, it's a combination of high-level talent and upperclassmen playing for us. So hopefully we'll get over the hump.
Interesting, good.
Brian, along with the season opener at Oregon, you've had some other real resume-building wins, big home wins over Minnesota, and just last Sunday, a 4-0 shutout of Indiana. Talk about how important those victories are in preparing you for SEC play, which is coming this week.
Well, it's kind of twofold. They're big for NCAA selection later in the season and maybe a seed down the road, because Indiana, Minnesota will certainly be in the mix for NCAA tournament themselves. And heading into SEC play, I think it's really important not just to play good teams and really solid mid-majors. It's important to play other teams that operate the way we do. Big athletic departments who are getting after it year-round and have the similar kind of academic support and strength and conditioning so that we're ready when we face Alabama on Friday night for a similar battle.
Absolutely. Well, Alabama will be a test. You'll be hitting the road into Tuscaloosa. Maybe a quick scouting report on the Crimson Tide.
Well, they've got a new coach who's implemented a very attractive style of play. They're a big pass and move team, and in our league, there probably aren't 2 or 3 teams who try and play that way. We like to be one of them, along with probably Florida and now Alabama, so that aesthetically our kids will enjoy the game because it won't all be jump high, run fast, and kick hard. But going into Tuscaloosa, every road SEC game is so tough, so that's what we expect.
All right, let's take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll get to some specifics. Who are the key players for Brian Lee now in his 11th season? The Tigers 4-0-2. We'll be back here on Tiger Tracks.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
As promised, we are back. Thanks so much for staying with us here on Tiger Tracks. We continue the conversation with Brian Lee, SEC opener against Alabama this Friday, Duke on Sunday. So a little SEC, ACC flavor. Also there's an international flavor to your squad. 7 different nations included on your team this year.
Yeah, that's right. We're really trying to recruit the world. And in terms of women's soccer, the United States is still the #1 country in the world for producing players, but the rest of the world is catching up very quickly. It's become so much more socially acceptable across Latin America and Europe for the girls to play at a young age. So they are producing kids who are growing up in soccer cultures the same way the men are over there now. And it's really a joy to have them in the program, and I think our American kids really benefited just to see people from different cultures and different upbringings.
Man, I saw what Brazil did to the United States men. Can you get some Brazilian girls? They got to be really good. A little Neymar or something like that?
That's right. A couple years ago, the SEC Player of the Year came out of Ole Miss and was a Brazilian girl.
There you go.
Sometimes with us, it's a little tough to get South Americans in. We've got some academic constraints with the TOEFL score and things like that people might be surprised of. But we're always going to scour the world for the best players.
Let's talk about your best players this year in your mind.
Well, certainly it starts with our seniors. Alex Arlett at the back, who's a 5th-year senior with us. We lost her in the second game last season, but the silver lining in that was she was able to come back a year older, a year better. She has been absolutely fantastic. Defensive MVP of the first 2 tournaments we played in. We think she's a future pro and one of the elite defenders in college soccer. In the middle of midfield, we've got Natalia Gomez Junco, who's our Mexican international, who really just runs the team. 6 assists, leads the SEC in assists so far this season. And then up front, we've got, we call them Thing 1 and Thing 2, Jorian Balcom and Summer Clark, who are 2 of the most athletic, technical, tactically savvy strike tandems in all of college soccer. They're both proven internationals with their youth national teams, and they're a handful for opposition.
Okay.
Of course, you always get the question about your goalkeepers. Right. Tell us about those.
Yeah, Cat has been a wonderful surprise for us. Catalina Rubiano is a New Orleans product, came into the program as a walk-on and really proved herself over the last couple of years and has improved immensely. We're happy to reward her with a scholarship this fall. It's always a great feeling when you have a kid who comes in and puts in the work and earns a scholarship going into their senior season. And she's been outstanding, great shot stopper. She's an exciting keeper to watch. She's always flying around, and I'm really happy she started off well.
Always great entertainment at a reasonable price to go see LSU soccer this Friday against Alabama. It's free.
That's right. Our Sunday games are Sunday Fun Day. If fans come out for a couple games, I think they get an LSU scarf. There's always something going on. We've averaged right about 1,200 a game so far this season.
Beautiful complex.
Beautiful. It's beautiful, and we've got the practice field right next to us where the kids can run around and play a little bit. The Sunday Fun Days have really come off. Certainly the Indiana game was a roaster. I saw somewhere where someone said, I just watched a soccer game on the surface of the earth, or surface of the sun. Sorry. And that's what it felt like, but we appreciate the sport. It makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
And so many more people within our area, within our country, are appreciating soccer now.
Yeah.
The women win the World Cup over the summer. MLS seems to be exploding all over the nation. Soccer really is being more prominent in the consciousness of our country.
Absolutely, and really what's happening now is some of the better athletes, even in states like Louisiana, they're not all going to football and baseball now, and we're starting to keep more elite athletes in the game, especially in our Louisiana area. You know, everybody plays soccer when they're 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and it's a great background sport for any sport you end up playing, working on your footwork and things like that. But now we're keeping more of them into soccer, and the U.S. men's national team will only get better.
Man, you haven't aged a bit in 11 years. You still look the same. How about it? It's amazing.
Well, luckily the camera's on the front.
Drives me crazy. Good luck Friday night against Alabama, Sunday afternoon against Duke. That's Brian Lee, the head coach of LSU Soccer. We'll take a break. When we come back, remember when with Justin Vincent here on Tiger Tracks on CST.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. 10 years ago, August 29th, a game we'll never forget in this part of the world as Katrina struck, and LSU opened up its arms and helped in so many ways, and we're going to remember that right here, right now.
And Justin Vincent, of course, was a great football player at LSU and was a senior on that team in '05 when Katrina struck our area. Justin's now on the football staff as assistant personnel director, and LSU sat down with him as he recalled the impact that storm had upon the LSU community and how LSU athletics responded.
You know, people always talk about a mental game as far as this football stuff goes. If you play sports your whole life, obviously you have to practice on your craft, and it makes you better in the long run, but you're kind of still natural at it. But nobody goes through experiences like we went through. Nobody goes through devastation in New Orleans, people losing family members, people not knowing what's next. That defining moment, it kind of made you get out of your own way. Like, it's not about you. This life that you live is about other people. You know, it's helping people seek advice, give advice. And that moment made everybody get out of themselves and get into this team and get to in this community and help out in the best way they can. And I think for me personally, it made me a better person. I can guarantee you that, because going in that PMAC and seeing those people who haven't bathed in 2 weeks and haven't seen their family members and children down there that haven't seen their family, their parents, it's something that made me a better person from it. We were supposed to be playing our first home game here against Arizona State. It was unsettling for a lot of us, myself included. You don't know what to expect. You don't know how to go about your business, because in your whole mind you're thinking your home game's going to be here. Then on top of Hurricane Katrina, on top of volunteering, on top of having teammates whose family members they haven't heard from in weeks at a time, that was one of those uncertainty places in your life that you don't know how to actually react to it. We practiced an extra week and a half of training camp, and it made us stronger. You know, we were tired as all get out, but at the same time, it built us to be the team we were that year. I think, you know, what Coach Miles did, that instead of him saying, you know what, maybe I haven't done this before, but I'm still going to do things my way, he didn't do that. He was able to kind of sit back and say, you know what, I don't know anything about this. Y'all please tell me, what should I do? How should we go about our business? Should we play football? Should we not practice? What should we do? And everybody spoke up, and I think a lot of people, even though they didn't say it, they respected him for that. And that was one thing that I took away from that he was not about himself. He was about this team, and that's why a lot of people fell in love with him. I mean, it's personality, because a lot of people wouldn't do that.
And the great distraction of home and a heartfelt desire to do something for them, and not really knowing how or what to do other than play. And you came out here, what was a home game and an advantage for us became an away game and an advantage for them. The point is whatever adversity they put in front of you, you just kept playing. And understand this, the players won this game. The coaches did a good job. I'm not talking about me. The assistant coaches did a great job preparing you. But let me tell you what you did. You made plays, personal plays, because you just wouldn't give up. You just wouldn't let them win. You had to take victory home. I'm going to tell you something. We put this on the back of our helmets, and it was an outward show. And how you played tonight was the inward show. You played with heart, you played with courage. You do that, you do it repeatedly, you'll have a great season.
A remarkable time that we will never, ever, ever forget. I can still remember those Black Hawk helicopters flying back and forth, and the triage where I used to play basketball, the Assembly Center. I'll never forget that visualization.
Absolutely, it was a remarkable time, and so proud of the way that the LSU community responded in helping literally thousands of people get back to health as the Assembly Center became a hospital and a care facility for so many people.
And a remarkable season for LSU on the football field.
That's right.
After that, remarkable.
That's right.
What a great time. But good luck to the Tigers. They're favorites on the road against Mississippi State. We'll have we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll preview next week the big home opener against the Auburn Tigers. That'll be a 2:30 affair on CBS. The fun begins.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go right into it. Two straight SEC games to begin the 2015 season. Coach Miles, in his 11th season at LSU, no one has won more games over the past 10 years in the SEC than LSU. We look for more great success beginning this week in Starkville.
Crazy start to the season. Yeah. Caffeine, lightning, and now on the road, only in Tiger Town. He's Bill Franquez. I'm Jordy Helper. Thanks so much for joining us in Tiger Tracks. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend, and we're all pulling for the Tigers to get the W and get this season started in the right way as they take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Again, 8:15 start, another late one on ESPN. Until next time, this is Tiger Tracks on CST.